Are you ready to stop the self sabotage and create the life you desire? Well, in order for that to happen, you need to break free from the bad beliefs that are holding your success hostage. You need to optimize the stress by turning it into extra energy for success. And those hurtful habits? Well, we need to give that pain a purpose for progress. Welcome to Stop the Self Sabotage and Create the Life You Desire podcast. Do you ever think about an ex? Just occasionally. And even though you're no longer together because it probably was not healthy, you still miss them a little bit? How about a bad habit that held you back? Or maybe an environment that just was not good for you, but yet you still miss them once in a while. This happened to me just the other night. I was watching TV and a commercial came on. It was for this happy family out fishing, the mom and dad and the two little kids. And that's an activity that me and my ex-husband used to do. Now, I have been married to my current husband, Drew, that y'all know because I've talked about him, for, gosh, almost 25 years. So I am going a ways back on this. And I started thinking about the times that we would take our boys, me and my ex, we were together, gosh, 16, 17 years. And the times when we would take our boys fishing. And then right after that, another commercial came on. And it was for these summer alcohol drinks, the seltzers that have the fruity taste to them. And I was like, wow, I kind of miss drinking, even though I've been clean and sober for almost 25 years. And then after that, it showed some people getting back together in the office and coworkers all excited that they were seeing each other again. And I started thinking about when I worked in corporate and the good times we had there. I remember one time when there was a group of us all standing around in the center of the office trying to figure out this really challenging problem client. And then somebody mentioned her name, Roxanne. And there was a half dozen of us that all of a sudden broke out into song from the group Police called Roxanne unprompted. But here's what you need to know. Just because you miss something doesn't mean you want it back, because you're confusing nostalgia with reality. See, you will remember things as you are right now, not as who you were whenever you were in that relationship, in that bad habit, in that environment. Because one of the things about that corporate environment is I found out one of the people that reported to me was making 3 times as much as I was. Yeah, just because he had different equipment than what I did. Okay, so you remember it now, which is the reason why you can look back at it and go, oh, such wonderful times. But it wasn't wonderful then. And here's something else you want to know. The brain creates amnesia around pain. If it did not, I don't know of too many women that would have more than one child. Man, that really hurt. Another one? Are you crazy? But we forget how bad things hurt. So you bring back that memory in a way that you're looking at it through the proverbial rose-colored glasses, because who you were being triggered in a way that brought you out at your best. So, I was being triggered by the family memory as far as I want a connection to love. And I was being triggered by thinking about the drinking, because I'm going to tell you right now, I have an addictive personality. And if I'm going to get addicted to anything, it better be health, because any substance will take me down. And so I was remembering the high that I got off of drinking. And I can get a high now by pushing myself whenever I'm hiking and engaging in those types of activities. So that's what I was remembering, is getting high, but getting high on life is what I love to do. And then thinking about being in corporate and surrounded by all those people, it was having something in common with people that was spontaneous, that was joyful, which is the reason why I had to let go of two of my very close relationships in the past year, because it was no longer spontaneous, it was no longer joyful. And a very wise man told me many, many years ago, if you got to drag them in, you're going to have to drag them around. And that's exactly what it felt like I was having to do with my friends. Okay. So you loved that experience. Whenever you bring it back with nostalgia, you loved it because of who you were in that experience based on who you are now. hmm So you were getting a level of certainty, variety, worthiness, or validation. That's what's known as the core four. There's three additional levels past this, but for right now, this is good enough. And here's where you got to be very careful, because the reality is that certainty holds the wound of abandonment. Variety holds the wound of rejection. Worthiness holds the wound of unworthiness, and validation holds the wound of invalidation. And learning to stay connected through painful problems, because everything is created as a whole. Everything has a progress side and a pain side. And this is the reason why people will go back to people, places, and things that made them sick to start with, because they're like, no, I got a handle on it. I'm good. No, you do not, because you are not seeing it with reality. You're seeing it through those rose-colored glasses, and there is a part of you that has been programmed and conditioned to seek out people, places, and things to reinforce the fact that you should be abandoned, that you should be rejected, that you're not good enough, and there is never going to be enough. And this is the reason why you will go back to a bad habit, a bad relationship, a bad environment, because you think you got a handle on it, when in fact, the part of you that is hurt is being triggered to seek that out, to reinforce the fact you can't have a good life. Say what? Uh-huh. Yeah. You will, your RAS, your reticular activating system, will actually seek out the things that will keep you stuck and struggling, because there is a part of your identity that received such an experience that hurt so bad it couldn't handle it, and it thinks that's who it is. It is your job to see things as they really are. And that when you get triggered, understand you are missing something, not to go backwards, but how you can create it for progress. So whenever I saw the commercial with the family, I'm like, okay, needing to connect to those I care about. And I came up with a vacation idea from my mom and some family members. Then okay, look, I'm being triggered by alcohol. What is it that I need to do? I haven't had the high of pushing myself lately and saying, how much can I achieve? So then it was like, okay, well, what kind of experience am I going to do there? And me and some of my friends and my son were going to go diving in an aquarium where they put you in a cage, but it's very controlled. It's in with the sharks. Okay. So I'm really pushing my boundaries there because I've never done any type of scuba work. Okay. And then the fact that, and just the thought of that was giving me a high, being able to push myself like that. And then in an environment where I'm missing the camaraderie of others, well, still looking for that. Uh, but I know my higher power is working on that on my behalf. Okay. You need to reprogram and recondition your mind that when you get triggered, it is going to be a trigger for progress, not going back to the past pain. Just because you miss something doesn't mean you want it back. It means you want to be able to move forward with who you are now and what's going to be the healthiest for you. If I can assist you with this and these triggers, I'm going to give you two options. One option is learning how to do this for yourself. Go to drewdonferguson.com/SH, stands for self-hypnosis. It is an on-demand course where I teach you how to take these triggers and actually use them as the light switch that is going to flip on your brilliance. And I even go much further in depth on the core four and the wounds that they have, but how these wounds actually hold your magnificence. It's called From Wounded to Wealth. So you have that ability. Or if you decide that you want to work with me, and I'll gift you this on demand self hypnosis course as part of that. You can reach out, drewdonferguson.com, and see the contact information there. You can reach out to me at 1-636-699-7791, either text or phone call. But whether you go to drewdonferguson.com and where there's the link that says hypnosis, you click on it and it has a button where you can set a call, or you want to reach out to me the old fashioned way, phone call or text, and then I reach back to you with a couple of times I have open. You need to realize that when you get triggered, you will go back to what you know because it's the path of least resistance unless you have programmed yourself to give that pain a purpose for progress. Okay, I believe in you. You can do this. But don't go back to the ex. Don't go back to the bad habit. Don't go back to the environment when all it did was hurt you and you've just got selective memory because you're created amnesia around that pain. No, we cannot do this. We have to keep you moving into progress. So until we have that conversation on how I might be able to support you, blessings on your brilliance.